Why don't corporations pay tax? That's the big question that everybody is asking. Why don't U.S. corporations pay tax? Now, if you listen to a lot of the Facebook and YouTube, Elizabeth Warren mainly, Hakeem Jeffries, and all those types, they're out there. If you paid $1 in federal tax, you've paid more taxes than Starbucks and Amazon and blah 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 blah. Now, what is that designed to do? That's designed to do a couple of things. Number one is to get you agitated that you're paying taxes and they're not, or maybe you're not paying taxes. I'm not sure. And the other thing is to get you to vote for them in the midterms by saying whoever's saying that is going to fix it. All of a sudden, all the corporations of the United States are going to fall in line. Well, let's take a look at that, shall we? But first, my name is Steve Spangenberg. I'm a home-based business tax expert and marketing expert, and I've been doing taxes for well over 47 years. And also some corporate taxes. I worked for big corporations. In my career, I worked for Vanity Fair Corporation, who makes not the magazine, but the women's clothing, Wrangler, Lee Jeans, Jansen, Jansport. And I also worked for Izod, their outlet division, the little alligator guys. So I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been on the corporate side and the personal side, and can tell you a lot of stories, but this video can only go so long without you falling asleep. So let's try to keep you awake. Do corporations pay taxes? Yes and no. Some corporations don't pay any taxes because they have a loss. Just like if you would have a loss, say let's just say in your own personal taxes, say you have a business, say a woodworking business, and you show a loss, you're not going to pay any taxes. Or if you are a person, say even if you're a family of four that make under $60,000 in income for the year, you're not going to pay any federal income taxes. In fact, you're going to get an earned income credit and you're going to get money back as a subsidy. So we could all yell on the Facebook and the YouTube that there's people that don't pay any income taxes and they still make all that money. Yeah, we could do that, but what's the sense? What is the sense of this? So I decided to look in why don't corporations pay taxes? Now, like I said, I worked for Vanity Fair for 2.5 years, and I also worked for Izod for 2.5 years. 2.5 years was my stint long enough in corporate life. And in both of those corporations, they had two sets of books. One set of books was for the shareholders, and the other set of books was for the tax people. And of course, the tax books showed as little of income or even losses as possible. Why? There's a lot of reasons why. The biggest one is what's called deferred taxes. And corporations enjoy certain laws or rules from the IRS that they can defer taxes on equipment purchases and things like that, and accelerated depreciation. Now I know I'm going to put you to sleep, but there's a whole bunch of rules, just like there's a whole bunch of rules for personal people. So they can push these taxes off into the future. And what does that do for corporations? That allows them to operate cash flow wise. That allows them to have working capital to keep their business growing. So the theory is they can have that cash injection now instead of giving it to the government, and then they'll build their business bigger and be able to afford the deferred taxes down the line. Just as the government gives business owners personal business owners, they give them the ability to buy a certain truck and they can write it off all at one time. So that frees up cash in their business so they can work their business and grow it. This is a two-way street. So that's why a lot of corporations don't pay any income taxes, or they pay very little income taxes. To say that a corporation doesn't pay income taxes without proof is really stupid. Now, I went and I said to myself, I'm going to figure out what this Liz Warren is talking about. She just goes on and on. So I looked at the actual 10K filing. That's the filing that a corporation makes with the government, and it includes their financial statements, which are usually audited by an outside auditing firm. So I did that today, and I looked first at Amazon. Now, Amazon made a pile of money. So they should. Everybody buys from Amazon. Not everybody. Once. So in their financial statements, they have a provision for income taxes. So this is an accounting entry for income taxes of 19 billion with a B, billion dollars. Okay? Now that includes a whole bunch of different taxes and everything, but when the rubber meets the road, they paid 2.75 billion in federal income taxes. Now, so for Senator Warren to say they didn't pay any taxes, it's just false. Then I looked at Starbucks as well, and they paid worldwide, they paid $651 million in taxes. In America, they paid $179 million in taxes. Now I live in Australia, which is fun. And, a lot of people say, well, Starbucks didn't pay any taxes in Australia. That's because they had a loss. Hello. They don't do as well in Australia as they do in America. Australia is small. I mean, Australia has the same land mass as America. Look that up. It's a fun fact. They're just as big as the United States, but everybody lives around the edges. They only have 26 million people. America has 350 million. So, of course, and a lot of Australians don't like Starbucks coffee. They say it's crap. So they don't do as well, and they show losses. If you show a loss, you don't pay any income tax. Now, this is something I've been working on for a long time, well over 25 years. I've been doing taxes for 47 years, but about 25 years ago, I coined the phrase create your own economy. And what we do as humans is we worry about what goes on with everybody else. Just like this, corporations don't pay taxes and we're going to make them pay their fair share. Well, guess what? If they pay their fair share of taxes, whatever that fair share is, whatever fair share means, it's just going to be passed on to you. So if they make Amazon pay more in taxes, they're just going to pass that expense on to you, and you'll see little creep up in prices on things. All right. They don't care. They're going to make the same bottom line no matter what. So what I've done is build a school around creating your own economy. Stop worrying about what corporations are doing. Corporations will do what corporations will do. You do not have control over that. Look at the strikes. They strike, not the strikes, the protests, the boycotts. I knew I'd come to that word sooner or later. And wink, wink. They boycotted Target. So what? They boycotted this. So what? They boycott this. So what? It doesn't matter. Everybody stops buying gas for a day and then they need it the next day. So it doesn't really matter. take control of what you can control, your economy. What comes into your household and what goes out of your household is under your control. I created a school, that's SKOOL, called Create My Economy, and it's going to flash across the bottom in fancy letters. And you can go there and invest $7 a month in yourself and learn how to do what my dad said. My dad said when I was young, when I was budgeting, things like that, he said, when you're in a budget problem, when you have, when you have a money problem, you can do one or two things or both. You can increase your income or you can decrease your expenses or you can do both. But it's no fun going through life decreasing your expenses so much that you can't even afford an ice cream cone. So I go to the increase your expenses. I'm sorry, that was a good one. That was a slip. Increase your income as much as you can. Decrease the expenses that you can without strapping your whole life. Okay? So head on over there to createmyeconomy.com. Invest $7 a month in yourself and find out how you can increase your income and decrease your federal taxes and your state taxes and your local taxes, and also build your own economy so that you can thrive no matter what happens. If gas goes up 90%, you can still thrive. And just as a spoiler, you can get the government to pay for your gas. So with that being said, I hope you learned that, yes, corporations do pay taxes. Sometimes they don't. And you can't control it. So have a nice day. Take care of yourself.